Wow. There were 6 of them, huh? Hey everyone, how's it going? We are going to be cutting some garlic. So I've got whole cloves of garlic here, or whole heads of garlic, that I'm going to be separating into cloves. The way you do that, first, you want to start by rubbing off the papery skin. So I just use my thumbs, just kind of rub it until no more of that papery skin comes off. Work over a compost container like that. All right. And then after that, you can take the whole head like this and kind of give it a little push with your palm, and that should separate it into individual cloves. All right. Now, there's this trick that people do. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Why don't we give it a shot? There's this trick that people do where if you want to like peel a bunch of cloves of garlic real fast, and the issue is this doesn't always work, but depending on the age of the garlic, it can, and we'll see if it works this time. You put them in a set of bowls like this, and then you just shake the crap out of it. And oh, look at that, it worked. And then the garlic cloves come out peeled. It doesn't always work. It really depends on the age of the garlic, and the specific garlic that you're doing. So if that doesn't work, I find that the quickest way to peel individual garlic cloves is to take your knife. And honestly, this method doesn't save you too much time anyway, because you have to trim off the bottoms anyway. So what you do is you take the edge of your knife, and I cut the very bottom, and then before I cut all the way through, I kind of tilt the garlic clove and just do like a pull it like that, you see? So I cut it and then pull it, and that'll get the edge of it'll get that garlic kind of half peeled like that. And then from there, you can use your fingers to peel it off. The other thing is that if you want to peel it even faster and you're planning on not slicing the garlic, but mincing it or smashing it, once you have it half peeled like that, you give it a little tap, and then that should make the peel come off much more easily. So you're kind of semi-crushing it, but not fully crushing it. All right, so once you've got your garlic cloves, trim off the bottoms. You can trim off any sort of ugly bits like that. There's a few ways you can deal with your garlic cloves now. One of them is obviously to slice them. I prefer to slice pole to pole like this, so just like that. And as with anything, when I'm slicing garlic, I keep my fingers in the sort of claw position, like a mini claw, and I let my knife ride on my knuckles like that to guide the thickness of the slices. You see? Oh, and look, this garlic has a germ in it. Some people like to remove this green germ. It can have a slightly bitter flavor. If you're going to be cooking the garlic, it doesn't make much difference. But if you're going to be doing something like putting it into an aioli or a mayonnaise or a toum or some other sauce where you're going to have raw garlic in there, it does help to remove that green germ. All right, so sliced garlic here. If you're going to mince your garlic, there's a few ways you can do it. If you've got a nice heavy Chinese cleaver like this, I like to just put the garlic there, give it a heavy smash. Okay, and then chop across it. And again, you can remove that germ if you really want to. If I'm going to cook it, I typically don't bother. All right, that'll give you some minced garlic. Another way you can mince your garlic is with a mortar and pestle. This is a good method to use if you've got kids, because it might take them a little bit longer to do it, but kids love smashing things in mortars and pestles, and they will get the job done. So you can get your garlic in there and pound it until it's as much of a mince or a puree as you want. What you're going to find, by the way, is that depending on how you mince your garlic, it's going to have an effect on the flavor. So garlic, like all alliums, they contain chemical precursors inside their cells that when the cells are ruptured, it starts creating those flavor compounds that give them their sort of pungency and their bite. So the more you rupture the cells, the stronger the bite of the garlic is going to be. And the longer you let the garlic sit after crushing it, the stronger that bite is going to be. So getting into a puree like this is going to give you a much stronger garlic flavor than a mince like this. Finally, there's the salt method for making a garlic puree. So let me show you how you might remove that germ, by the way. So if your garlic has a germ that's growing in it, you split it in half lengthwise, okay? And then you should just be able to peel that germ right out. Or not. Let's do it with with a paring knife. All right, you should be able to just pluck that germ right out like that, and you can discard it. Just like that. All right. So the other method for making a garlic puree is that you start by mincing it. And then you can add a little bit of salt to it. You want to use a coarse kosher salt like this. And then you use that as an abrasive essentially. So you crush your garlic using the salt. And that will both simultaneously, through osmosis, draw some of the liquid in the garlic out, but it'll also just act as an abrasive, so you crush it. And you kind of work at it like that with the salt until you get to however fine a puree you want it to be. Just like that. All right, so now the question you might have is, why do we bother cutting garlic fresh? Why do we bother starting with whole cloves? Why don't we use the pre-peeled garlic? And moreover, why don't we just use the pre-minced garlic or the various forms of garlic that you can buy? Well, the reason for that is, again, as I was telling you before, the garlic, once you cut garlic open, its flavor starts to change, and you can't really change it back. And so any form of garlic that has been pre-minced or pre-sliced or pre-cut in any kind of way, even if you're doing it fresh yourself, is going to have a distinct flavor, and it's going to be different from natural garlic flavor. So what I actually did, I've got all of I went to the supermarket, I found various forms of garlic. Lena, do you want to come over here for a second? I found various forms of garlic. So we got garlic. So this is the garlic that I just chopped fresh. This is Lena, by the way, production manager Lena. This is, you can say hello. I think you got a microphone.
Hi. Hi.
This is garlic puree. This is garlic, chopped garlic in water. This is chopped garlic in olive oil. And then this is garlic cloves that have come pre-peeled. The reason these might taste different is because when they pre-peel garlic cloves, they blanch them in order to loosen the skins. And so the garlic is going to have a slightly cooked, slightly different flavor than real fresh garlic. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to do a blind taste test and a sniff test. So let me cover this up. Lena, you're going to give them to me in whatever order you want. And and I will both sniff them and taste them and tell you what I think. All right, are we ready to go? Yeah.
Here we go. Garlic 1.
Oh. Okay, that is pretty strong. Can I have a little taste?
Yeah, please.
Okay. There's a bit of bite to it. There's sort of a balance there between flavor and pungency. All right, let's move on.
Okay, garlic 2.
I don't get much. All right, let's try that one.
Crush spoon. Science.
Woo! That is like real acidic. Wow. That doesn't taste much like garlic. It tastes like citric acid water to me. All right, let's move on to number 3.
Garlic 3.
Wow, I think I'm hitting my
Your garlic limit?
well, yeah, let's taste it and see what it is.
Okay, here we go. You're gonna love this one.
There's some salt there. Actually, it's not horrible. Yeah, there's some salt there. I get like some garlic flavor in the end. There's not a ton of pungency in there. Okay, let's move on.
Okay, garlic 4.
Okay.
You need more? You need
No,
more
that's got an almost cooked aroma to it already, I think.
Here it comes. Here comes the garlic plane.
Whoa. There's more of that citric acid flavor. So it's real acidic. It's kind of slimy. Okay. All right. How many more do we got?
Well, 2.
All right, 2.
Garlic. I'm gonna. Okay, garlic. Garlic 5.
Okay.
You want it right in your
Yeah, let's put.
boca?
No, let's get in my nose first.
Oh,
Oh.
we're dabbing.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. I think I need a palate cleanser.
Yeah, here it comes.
That is intense. Real sharp. Okay.
Okay, and garlic 6. Nose first. Here it comes.
Okay.
All right. Open up. Here it comes.
Okay, so that one's got, yeah, some real intense sharpness to it. So, tasting them raw. Wow. There were 6 of them, huh?
Uh-huh, there were.
All right, so tasting them raw, I would say the first one, the last one, and the 6th, and first, the 5th, and the 6th had sort of the sharpest, most pungent, like, I don't know, I guess fresh garlic flavor.
First.
Okay.
5th.
Okay.
6th.
Okay, yeah. So they have the most real intent, and I think this one in particular had the sharpest amount of pungency, like the real hit of garlic flavor. There were 2, I think it was the second one and the 4th one maybe, that had a real strong, I can't remember, was it the second and 4th? Real strong citric acid flavor.
Right on the money.
Yeah, so those 2, I mean, I'm guessing.
For sure.
Yeah, citric acid. Yeah. So citric acid is a preservative that they use both to control water activity and also to control the texture, so that it doesn't turn to complete mush as they do it. It also completely changes the flavor. So I would not recommend either of these in any kind of, certainly not in any raw setting. If you're going to cook with them, that can work. You know, any of these will sort of work for cooking because when you cook garlic, you do you tame a lot of those sort of sharper, pungent flavors, and so some of that flavor difference will even out a little bit. That said, even before it was cooked, there's not much aroma to these at all. And then was this the real salty one?
Yeah, and it's got some vinegar, so it is. It's not agnostic. It's
not, but you know, this does have. It has a better garlic flavor for sure than these two do. All right, so in any case, I would recommend fresh garlic from the that you peel yourself. You can always use pre-peeled garlic for most things, especially if you're going to cook it. Like that, there's not a huge difference in those 2 that I tasted. After that, the garlic paste may be an acceptable substitute. These ones, the pre-chopped garlic, either in water or in olive oil, I would typically stay away from those just because there's not much flavor at all left in those. Finally, the last thing that you can do is you can buy granulated garlic or minced garlic. These ones I find actually, they're not a substitute for regular garlic, but in the cases where you are going to use granulated garlic, it has a real distinct flavor, right? It's different from fresh garlic, and so I treat it almost like a completely different ingredient in the same way that, like, say, ground paprika is not the same as a fresh bell pepper. You know, they're just 2 different ingredients that offer 2 different flavors. So I think there is a time and a place for granulated garlic, especially if you're making something like a barbecue rub, or if you're going to put them into like ranch dressing. I have a recipe for ranch dressing, for a gochujang ranch dressing. It's in my book, The Walk. There's a recipe in there that calls for both fresh minced garlic and granulated garlic because they bring 2 different things to the party. Anyhow, all right, garlic knife skills. I showed you all the ways you can do it. And again, recap, fresh garlic is the best. And then garlic puree, I would stay away from the pre-minced garlic. All right, guys, gals, non-binary pals, we'll be back with more knife skills next time. Thank you, Lena.
staff lunch. Let's go, Michael.
Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. You can find the full article and recipe along with bonus content and my newsletter for free on my Patreon. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel for more videos like this, or my alternate channel, Kenji Lopez Main, for my dining content. And follow me on Instagram at Kenji Lopez-Alt for daily updates. You can also get signed and personalized copies of any of my books. That's The Food Lab, The Walk, or my children's book, Every Night is Pizza Night, shipped from Book Larder here in Seattle. Find the links to all of this, as well as all of the tools I used in today's video, in the description below. Thanks.